I know you.
Out of my way, you preening fool!
The avatar of destruction?
Huzzah! By the 12.
How is that even possible?
I will be your twinkle-toed gentleman of light.
I could hardly let that Inquisition go unchallenged.
We're more than capable of cracking skulls, believe you me.
Destroy the Imperial's toys in as spectacular a fashion as possible.
Easier said than done in the heat of battle.
No one could seem to remember the events that followed immediately afterwards.
Savage beatings, disarmament, and imprisonment.
The 7th Umbral Calamity.
It would incite widespread panic.
Which is why I am glad to find myself in the company of many trusted comrades.
Ah, I remember you. I still can't believe how much you've grown.
She's not an easy woman to please.
I should hope not.
You must have the patience of a saint.
They've sighted a detachment of heavily armed Imperials.
Our thirst for slaughter will be slaked. No quarter to the enemy!
We have a hard road ahead of us, but walk it we shall, together.
We fight not only for the sake of Eorzea, but for the entire world.
Sound the bell, school's in! Student Yomi at your service. Ryle and Gradia were having a pleasant conversation until you barged in. Oh, there you are! Feeling refreshed, I hope? I was about to make my way to the studio, as it happens. I wanted to try and speak with Scholar Montichenie and take him for coming to our rescue in the Rostra. Thank him for coming. As it turns out, he'd come here to see us following the hearing, only to find that we'd already departed for Tavener. Knowing him, he was probably hoping to chew the cud with his former students. Since we're still waiting for Y'shtola and the others, I thought now the perfect time to pay him a visit. Care to join me? Yeah, sure, why not? Then it's settled. The twins will be coming too, assuming Alphino can tear himself away from his new toys. I'll let you rally the troops while I go in ahead to Phenomenon. Considering my recent impropriety, perhaps I should avoid showing my face around the studio for a time. That might be for the best. If the others should return, tell them we will not be long. Heading out for a stroll? No, we wanted to go visit Master Montichenie. The scholar himself was here. In that case, what are we waiting for? I too am eager to see him, though I somewhat dread the thought of visiting the studium. I dare say our notoriety precedes us. Alphino of all people wearing over his reputation, and at our alma mater no less, will wonders never cease. We'll understand soon enough. Off we go. Here it is, Phenomenon. While I expect you made note of it before, one can hardly miss it. This is the first time you've been here on official business, correct? Yeah. While most of the space is taken up by the expansive auditoriums, it also houses numerous laboratories, testing grounds for experimental magics, and a host of administrative offices, and so forth. As the center of what would later become the studium, it was established to promote the study of etherological phenomena, hence the name. Though with ether being a fundamental aspect of nature, its scope expanded to include every conceivable facet of life and even the universe itself. And then, in the 432nd year of the 6th Astral Era, Phenomenon was decreed completely and the studium officially opened as a place of learning. With a long and storied history, it is without question the world's leading authority in etherology, the arcane, the occult, astromancy and countless other fields, standing proud as Sharlayan's foremost educational institute. You always did enjoy giving the grand tour to new students. Indeed, I've long since lost track of how many times he has recited that same foppish speech. Such is his undying love for his old stamping ground. He was in top form back then, youngest to enter the studium, graduated with highest honors in magical arts and etherology, undisputed champion of the debating chamber. Hold on, you both joined the studium at the same age, yes? And from where I stand, you're equally prodigious scholars. It's actually true, why is everybody always only talking about Alphino? I mean, she did exactly the same things, right? Basically. But probably with more fun during the studium, I don't know. Nice of you to say, but Alphino actually entered half a year before me. Oh! Okay, that changes everything. Nor did I do well enough to graduate with honors, and I am certainly not the studium's most notorious master debater. Yeah, okay. In all respects have I ever been in his shadow. If nothing else, just remember that this was where the legend of Alphino Leveilleur began. We should expect everyone to be fully aware of our recent escapades. Hopefully we'll be somewhat more welcome here than we were at the last stand. I know better than anyone the adoration the student body has for Alphino, and with a bit of luck it might work to our advantage. Well, there's no time like the present. First things first, let's look for Scholar Montichenia. Other faculty tend to frequent their offices, but unfortunately for us he's fond of wandering wheresoever his whims takes him. Let's split up and ask the students if they've seen him. Excitable student. That was Alphino Leveilleur, wasn't it? The Alphino Leveilleur! And he's with his sister and Master Baldassian's granddaughter. This can only mean one thing. An event of epoch-shattering proportions is fast approaching. Spread the word! Okay. Oh, sorry. You said you're looking for the Scholark, yes? Knowing him, he could be anywhere, but Miss Aliapo should have a better idea. Sloe, Chloe, someone new, Ki Aliapo. Okay, that's new. So, how do you stand towards Sloe and Chloe? Are you lost? Wandering off the streets, perhaps? Wait, don't tell me. You're a trainee gleaner fresh off the guild ship. I'm right, aren't I? No, you look like their cousin or something. Oh, how silly of me. The orientation is in order. Allow me to bid you a warm welcome to Searcher's Meet. Let me start with a question. What is the most important thing you'll find in the studium? Books. Books. Exactly, that's what I wanted to say. Kitty. That's right, books. And what's the second most important? Why, that's simple. Everything else. Okay. That's what we deal in here at Searcher's Meet. Whenever the students or tutors find themselves in need of equipment or materials, they come to us. If we don't have it in the stores, we send the cleaners off to find it. Honestly, you wouldn't believe some of the requests we get. Eye of Paisa this, tongue of Gigantoad that. It's enough to make your hair stand to an end. I've probably had more than one of those at some point of in my travels. In my pockets, on my travels. Which is possibly what some of our students are trying to accomplish, this being a school of magic and all. As a new Scalina, you'll have your work cut out for you, but I think you'll find it quite rewarding. No. No, you don't come over to the table. You just stay there. The only thing I'm interested in gleaning is information on the Scholark's whereabouts. I've tracked down many miscellaneous knickknacks in my time, but I'm no gleaner. So what you're telling me is, you're not a gleaner? Yes, that's exactly what you said, isn't it? And you're looking for a Scholark? I'm afraid we don't have any of those in stock, but I can... Oh, you mean him? He was here, but now he's not. I did speak with him shortly before you arrived, though. He said he was on his way to Maker's Meet. Go back the way you came in and you'll see it on the opposite side of the entrance. It's a laboratory of sorts, home to many rare and expensive curious, not to mention alarmingly frequent accidents. If you lose your way, just follow the blood-curdling screams. Consider me intrigued. Ha! And in the time it's taken me to tell you all of this, the Scholark has probably already left. Best of luck finding him. I have a feeling you'll need it. Okay, thank you a lot, Miss Aliapo. Yes, the Scholark was here a short while ago. He offered me advice on my current research project. Though we spoke at length, I don't recall him mentioning where he was planning to go next. When we parted ways, he went down the corridor, perhaps to one of the auditoriums. Everybody has seen him not long ago. Just everybody. That old man is just sprinting around the school all the time. Oh, there he actually is. That wasn't that hard.
Ah, I remember you.
I pray we have not caught you at an inopportune moment. We wanted to offer our thanks for your kind words in the forum.
Well, I could hardly let that inquisition go unchallenged. I've always believed that curiosity should be nurtured, not stifled. Thankfully, a majority of my colleagues agreed. A slender majority, aye, but a majority nonetheless.
Yeah, it doesn't matter if it's 50.1% or 99%. That's how democracy works.
Had the vote not gone our way, we would be having a very different conversation, if any at all. Though I'd like to think you would have not given up on our cause. I'm told you paid a visit to the annex afterwards.
Yes, that's right. I was hoping to speak with the grandchildren of my dearly departed friends Galuf and Louisoix in a less dour setting. But it seems I just missed you. I still can't believe how much you've grown. If only your grandsires could have seen the way you presented yourselves to the forum. Why, it fair brought a tear to my own eye. You must have the patience of a saint, putting up with this lot and their antics. Never mind Matoya's prize student.
And Matoya herself.
Luckily, I know a thing or two about managing unruly younglings. If you ever need advice, don't hesitate to ask.
What would that be? Beat them with a stick? I can do that.
If I may, there is a rather more pressing matter we wish to discuss. What can you tell us of this duty that the Forum must fulfill?
Nothing, I'm afraid. Like all humble servants of the Forum, I am sworn to secrecy. Or rather, I couldn't tell you if I tried.
Okay. So they've...
Our duty is of the gravest importance. Furthermore, if the particulars were made public, it would incite widespread panic. As such, those entrusted with this duty have been bound by an enchantment, which prevents us from speaking of such matters without the express permission of the Forum.
Okay.
How is that even possible?
It's been some time since I last gave a lecture.
Please take a seat. Okay, I didn't want to know it, you know, that detailed. Why couldn't I accept it with my school uniform? I know it, me, take me, please, here, me, I know it. That's actually rather impressive.
We shall begin by reviewing the fundamentals of etherology.
I mean, sure, magic is pretty normal in that world, but just creating stuff from thin air is still pretty oosh.
The ether, which imbues us with life, can be categorized into 3 forms.
So do they know about Akasha? That's the question, right?
2 are of the incorporeal sort, the soul and the memory. Can anyone tell me the 3rd?
Body? Magic! Magic is always the answer.
Yes, Very good. This is the form with which the layman is most familiar. Consumed by even the simplest of daily activities, and replenished by the food and drink that sustain us, this form of ether is in constant flux. In contrast, the ether that comprises the soul is rarely subject to dramatic change. The same can be said for memory, as the two are intrinsically linked.
Come on, now you're just showing off.
Picture the soul as paper, and memories as words written upon it.
Welcome to the what? Midterm?
Now, what would happen if that paper was doused with ink? The same type of ether as comprises the memories.
It would just be black. So you couldn't really memorize anything. Because it's basically more than you can hold.
It would blot out everything that was written.
Precisely. We would be unable to recall the memories, and any activities that depend upon them would be hindered as well.
So you just blotted out your memory to whatever that duty is that you have, and whenever you need to know it, you basically remember it? Or how does it work?
In fact, this exact phenomenon was observed on a vast scale not so long ago. And what might that have been?
Yeah, the 7th Umbral Calamity.
The 7th Umbral Calamity. The people of Eorzea vividly recall Bahamut breaking free of the Lesser Moon and raining hellfire down upon the realm. But no one could seem to remember the events that followed immediately afterwards.
Indeed. To this day, we have yet to determine whether it was an unintended consequence or a deliberate act. The enchantment which binds me and the rest of the Forum is based on a similar principle. And yes, it is a contravention of the Sharlayan prohibition against the practice of memory manipulation.
But it's fine, since all of the Forum voted for it, right?
And told of our great duty, are they subjected to the process? A necessary evil. You have my word that it would never be used to manipulate the populace?
I should hope not. But can this enchantment be dispelled and your memories restored?
Well, it wouldn't really make sense if they weren't able to do so.
If 9/10 of our members give their approval, then the process may be reversed. Then, and only then, would we be able to speak freely to others of our sacred duty. Barring that, we must wait until we return to the ethereal sea.
Well, just become a member of the Forum then, right?
For there we will be purified, the blots upon our souls washed clean.
Or kill one of them and visit them in the ethereal sea.
And our memories drift apart and dissolve, rather defeating the purpose, I suppose. But there are those memories that are indelibly etched upon our souls, some believe.
Is that why Hydaelyn brought whomever, Ematzelk, whomever, back to the source?
What happens after that?
We are reduced to pure ether, coalesce with that of others, and create souls anew. Alternative schools of thought assert souls remain whole and return to the corporeal world. reborn into another form. Both theories have their proponents. Personally, I consider each equally probable.
I love cutscenes like that.
Well, I think that's enough education for today. Now that I've given you some food for thought. Or rather, an entire banquet.
You know, some lore and world building instead of all the idle, stupid chit-chat.
I would remind you that although I'm unable to assist you with certain matters, the resources at my disposal may still be of use to you. I'll arrange for you all to be given the run of Phenomenon. Of course, as associate to our alumni and the students of Baldessian, this privilege is extended to you as well, my friend.
Why, thank you.
Oh, and I suggest you speak with Ki Aliapo. She's well known among the artisans of Sharlayan, and her network of contacts may prove useful in your search for knowledge. I wish you all the best in your pursuits, wheresoever they may take you.
That was a rather creepy laugh, especially because for some reason it was louder than everything else. School's out for summer. You have been granted the run of Phenomenon. If you're a game, Kialiapo would put your artisanry to good use. I guess that's just a disciple of Land in Hand stuff. Yeah, probably. Some of my earliest memories are of Scholar Monty Shenyuk, actually. He was a close friend of my grandfather. He would comfort tea and amaze us with his tricks, much like his demonstration with the paper and ink. It's a huge part of why I wanted to enter the studium in the first place. While Scholar Monty Shenyuk is best known for his role as head of the studium, he is said to be one of the finest mages Sharlayan has ever produced. Having seen for myself the ease with which he weaves extraordinarily complex and powerful magics, I have no reason to doubt the claim. A capital idea! Kryl is still digesting a rather hefty portion of food for thought. Well, that's given me much to mull over. I feel as though we're one step closer to understanding the forum's true motives, and the mysteries of life itself, for good measure. It's funny, I came here with the intent of expressing my gratitude, only to leave more indebted than before. I have a feeling his friendship and support will be a great boon to us in the days to come. And on that note, let's head back to the annex. Perhaps on the way you could better acquaint yourself with Ki Aliapo, as the scholar suggested, while I share our findings with Raha. Hey Raha. Raha-ha-tya. Ah, welcome back. From what I hear, your trip to the studium proved most educational. While you were away, I received word from our fellow Science. As expected, news of the warding scales was met with much joy. Preparations are now on the way to bring the leadership of the Grand Company of Eorzea and the Eastern Alliance together to determine a way forward. Our friends have asked that we bring the scales in our possession to Limsa Lominsa. So the time has come for us to go on the offensive? It's too early to say for certain, but that does seem to be the way the winds are blowing. I, for one, can think of no reason to oppose such a plan, but let us see what awaits us in Vilbrand. Let's start by getting the scales out of storage. Give me a hand, would you, Asinian? You know you're a little taller than her. You might reach the upper shelves. She could easily fit in one of those crates. Ooh, I didn't realize these crates were so heavy. I shouldn't complain though. Virtra and the alchemists of the great work put their heart and soul into each and every one of those scales, so you must treat them with the utmost care. Are you not coming with us? As much as I would like to escape the forum's watchful gaze, I have little choice but to stay behind. We're already on thin ice, and if I, in my capacity as our official representative were found to be consulting with foreign powers, well, you can imagine how that would go. I shall remain here and do my utmost to avoid ruffling any more feathers as I await word from Master Matoya and our other allies. With luck, we'll soon have good news for our own to share. The tide is about to turn, I can feel it. Tilim Salomensa! To the Batmobile!
Ah, I was told to expect you. As you may or may not be aware, the Admiral is at present entertaining the Elder Seats here and the Sultana. 3 of the most powerful women in the world in one room. Do you need a moment to prepare, or shall I show you to them?
Well, they're gonna be met with a 4th one of the most powerful women in the world. I only just now realized that the official representatives of all of the city-states are women. Never thought about it. My apologies for calling you away from Shalayan at such short notice. On the contrary, we are honored and grateful and pleasantly surprised to be joined by such esteemed company. It was only right that this discussion be conducted in person. We are locked in a war of attrition. Our forces struggle to contain the threat posed by the towers, and it's only a matter of time before we are overwhelmed. Victory will only be claimed through decisive action, and we have taken the initiative to set the wheels in motion. It is reassuring to learn we are all in accord. But might I ask what your plan entails? Nope, we don't tell you. Only if 90 of all of our 100 members vote for it to... It hinges entirely on the voting scales and our ability to utilize the potential to the fullest. During our time in Shalayan, the allied nations have been engaged on separate fronts, with no end in sight. To make matters worse, the search and abductions of Kobold, Sahagin, Ixal and Ananta have given rise to an increasing number of primals as well. But your triumph in Ratzadan has given us cause to hope once more. The time has come to free ourselves of this menace. And it is you, the Scions of the Seventh Dawn, who have shown us the way. As usual. While the bulk of our forces will continue to hold the Telophoroi at bay, we will dispatch our finest to strike at the enemy's heart. Garlemald! These brave few will be the Ilzabard contingent. To think such progress has been made in so short a span. Its objectives are twofold. The first is to provide aid to the people of Garlemald. They just don't acknowledge him at all. As previously reported, countless Imperial soldiers and civilians have been tempered. Robbed of their free will, they serve the Telophoroi's every whim without question. They too are victims. It is our duty to deliver them from their suffering, not for strategic or political gain, but because it is the right thing to do. I do not ask that we set aside the decades of conflict and conquest, that we simply choose to forgive and forget. I ask only that in choosing to remember we do not also forsake our compassion and morality, for without that there can be no reconciliation, only death without end. Aye, and that we can all agree. Our second objective is the colossal tower that Thancred and Urianger observed in the capital. Though its purpose remains unclear, there is reason to believe the smaller spires are merely a precursor of what's yet to come. Until the Tower of Sot was toppled, we'd failed to make any headway, though the same could be said of the Telophoroi. They're certainly in no rush to press further into our lands. I'd wager the spire's primary purpose is to divide and keep us occupied, while they work towards our annihilation. This would appear to be substantiated by Yashtola's analysis of the tower's influence on ethereal currents. Based on her observations inside the Tower of Sot, the spires siphon ether from the land, consuming it to maintain their form. However, they draw forth far more than is required for this task alone. The excess of ether remains unaccounted for, but we can be sure it is not being harnessed for our benefit. It wouldn't surprise me in the least if it was being redirected to the largest spire in the capital. There's a logic in that. Regardless, once we have uncovered the truth, we'll bring their schemes crashing down along with their infernal towers. That's all well and good, but what you have us do? I assume it's more than handing over the scales and being on our way. We want you and your scales to join the Ilzabard contingent. Consider it an official request from both the Grand Company of Eorzea and the Eastern Alliance. Do you accept? Sure, sire! Ma'am, sorry, ma'am. Ma'am, sure, ma'am. Perhaps you should be the one to answer that. My scythe is hungering. Frostmourne hungers. Yeah, for the people of Garlemald. No, for revenge against the love. I don't really care about any of them all. Maybe most for the people of Garlemald, to be honest. Welcome back, Kitty. Couldn't have put it better myself. I wonder about that. Y'shtola, Thancred and Urianger have already pledged their support and are on the way to meet the rest of the contingent. They were positive you would come to the same decision as they did. Luckily for all involved, their prediction was correct. Once you have delivered the warding scales to Alamigo, the contingent will embark on its journey to Ilsebard. Rauban and Lord Aymeric are overseeing preparations, so I suggest you make yourselves known upon arrival. Pack warm clothing, furs and the like. Without it, the cold will do you in before the Tailor so much as draw steel. As for us, we'll keep the enemy busy while you're gone. They're not the only one who can create a diversion. Now go, safe in the knowledge Eorzea will be as you left it, or better, upon your return. Or better upon your return. I wonder about that as well. Ah, the Wanderer has returned. You've been busy bringing down a tower and producing the keys to destroying the rest of them. You should be proud. Those warding scales of yours are what's made this whole venture possible. Will you and Lord Aymeric be leading the contingent? Regrettably, no. Our role is to organize the various delegations into a cohesive unit. Once we have seen you all off, it's back to our respective posts. We dare not neglect our duties for too long, lest our defensive efforts fall into disarray. And just between us, there was a fair amount of opposition to the formation of the Ilsebard contingent. The very suggestion that we send out some of our finest troops behind enemy lines to render aid unto the Garleans has made me rather unpopular in certain quarters. Can't please them all. Sadly not, though I do my best. Truth be told, I'd much rather be at your side, charging into the fray. Alas, I've battles of my own to fight, where words may serve me better than any blade. I hate to say it, but Lord Aymeric's struggles mirror my own. For the time being, the best we can offer you is the peace of mind from knowing Eorzea is in safe hands. As you fight the good fight in Ilsebard, I and the other commanders will do what we can to convince the naysayers that our cause is just. Thank you, both of you. We meet again. Ah, Gaius. Much has occurred since we parted ways in Verlet. From what I gather, the protective talismans you obtained led to the formation of this expeditionary force. My contribution on the occasion is but a minor one, that being the information I have shared with Maxima. For the sake of the people of Garlemald, may the fates be on your side. May the force be with you. So you're not coming with us? Strange, I thought you'd have a stake in this. I do. The Tailor have laid waste to my homeland and enslaved my people. But though every mote of my being cries for vengeance, I cannot be the one to deliver it. My presence alone would place the entire mission in jeopardy. I stand accused of murdering Emperor Varys and plunging Garlemald into chaos. Were I to travel with the Ilsebard contingent, it would give my countrymen ample cause to question our motives. Conversely, those who believe me innocent may instead celebrate the return of a former legatus and attempt to rise me to a position of leadership, further destabilizing the region and complicating the contingent's mission. Whether I am branded a villain or hailed as a hero, I would only hinder your efforts. I doubt they'll be pleased to see the champion of Eorzea set foot in Garlean soil. A fair point. But so long as you refrain from announcing your arrival to all and sundry, the average person should have no inkling as to your identity. I want a t-shirt. I am the Warrior of Light. Hail me. Although your titles and deeds are common knowledge, only a select few would recognize you on sight alone. Perhaps one day they will learn that the Warrior of Light is not a demon to be feared, but a woman deserving of their trust. For now, I have plans of my own. Not really. In light of Gaia's rather unique circumstances, I instead will assume the role of your guide. Though I may have defected for political reasons, my love for Garlemald endures. I would stop at nothing to protect her and her people. Well said. Might I ask you to escort our friends inside? You might even bump into an old acquaintance or two. And if I don't see you again ere you depart, may the Fury guide and protect you. All of you. Yes, come on, let's go, finally. Garlemald. I've been waiting long enough. Best of the best. Maxima would have you meet your new traveling companions. And the other members of the Ilsabad contingent are gathered in the royal palace. I shall inform them of your arrival, so please make your way inside as soon as you're ready. Please lead us in. Ah, the remaining members of the Science. Your friends and most of the Ilsabad contingent await you within. Would you like me to see you through? Yes, please. Ah, been here before. Done that.
By the 12.
Holy crap. It's basically everyone.
Glad you could join us. I hope you don't mind, but we went ahead and started without you.
As you can imagine, our traveling companions were eager to become acquainted. 'Tis a rare thing indeed to see such a diverse and talented group of individuals assembled for a single purpose.
Honestly, I thought it would be like 10 people or something. It would be like, oh, the Ilsabad contingent, and then usually it's just, you know, like 3 or 4 people or whatever. So I'm actually shook. Shaken. Shocked. In shock. At how many people they are. And it's basically everyone from every guild, right? From every job's guild.
We fight not only for the sake of Eorzea, but for the entire world, including the people of Garlemald. Much rides on the efforts of the Ilsabad contingent.
I mean, we can see but the one from the Pugilists guild, of course, the guys from the Thaumatorch guild. This one is, I think, from the Lancers guild. I'm not sure if he's only in the Dragoon quests. I don't remember that one, to be honest. Are they the Sea Soldiers? Because this one, of course, is from the Scholar quests. I don't remember him exactly, as well as those two. And I think the ones in the back are just, yeah, copy-pasted models, okay.
Indeed, which is why I am glad to find myself in the company of many trusted comrades, yourselves included.
And then, of course, there was one of the Seed Seers. I don't remember her name or his name. Don't know if it was the girl or the boy.
Lucia.
That's her name.
I have come at the behest of Lord Emmerich, who has honored me with the role of Ishgard's representative. And for the good of all nations, not least my former homeland, I am determined to see this mission through to its end. We have a hard road ahead of us, but walk it we shall. Together.
We too welcome this opportunity to work together once more. I have faith that, if there is a way to resolve this conflict, we will find it.
Allow me to introduce you to the rest of our company.
Chefing.
Everyone! If I may have your attention.
You might want to speak up a little. I don't know if they can hear you. Oh, it's the boy, okay. Pippin, of course.
Might I ask you to speak first?
If I must.
The one who shall not see.
I am Arun Senna, spokesman for the Gridanian delegation. Here on behalf of my esteemed sister, the Elder Seedseer, we shall provide support and protection to those in need during our time in Garlemald. To that end, I am joined by healers selected by the Conjurers Guild, with the Order of the Twin Adder's Finest serving as our escort.
Suppose I'd better say my piece.
Oh yeah, isn't he the pirate one? Like the the captain's first mate that we had to... Yeah, I remember that storyline. Where you had to act as if you're like a crystal smith or something.
Wait,
yeah, exactly.
The name's Sicard, in case you've forgotten. Truth be told, I'd rather you had forgotten. Anyway, the Admiral asked Captain Hillfear to send his best, and for whatever reason, he picked me.
For whatever
Of course,
reason.
If I'd refused, I'd be the laughing stock of the bloody executioners, and my reputation's taken enough of a keyhauling as it is. But more importantly, like any pirate worth his salt, I know when you're staring down a storm, you gotta trust in the commander of your ship. So if the Admiral wants us to go to Garlemald, not for plunder and glory, but a promise of peace in our time, then that's what we'll do.
That's the spirit.
Since we all know how much the Empire loves its steel, we thought we'd bring along a few smiths to make the most of it. Give them a pile of scrap and they'll cobble together anything you fancy.
He's not a pirate though, I don't remember his name, but he's not a pirate, he's a sea soldier. At least he calls himself sea soldiers, right?
Of course, just like the Gridanians, we got fighters of our own. We might have come with a more constructive purpose in mind.
But we're more than capable of cracking skulls, believe you me.
Alright, take it easy.
Well, you're certainly raring to go. Then again, so are we. The most dependable warriors of Uldar and Alamigo have assembled at the Sultana and General Aldin's behest. If Garlemald has truly fallen, then the whole place is likely to be crawling with Telophoroi. We'll need plenty of troops to clear and hold a path for others to follow. That's where we come in. Naturally, Marshal Tarapin and I will be leading from the front. It's been some time since I last saw you in your element on the battlefield. From what I've heard, you've become pretty fearsome yourself. Master Matoya, the Avatar of Destruction?
Yeah, that's a few of the names she goes by.
With comrades like these, I know we'll succeed, no matter what awaits us. And then we might finally get a chance to enjoy a good long rest. But until then, let's give it our all.
As for Ishgard, we Temple Knights have come in force to uphold our nation's commitment to the peace and welfare of our allies. The bitter cold of Garlemald is a formidable enemy in of itself. Our experience fighting in ice and snow will prove invaluable in the days ahead. Accordingly, I have been designated commander of the Ilzabard contingent. I will do all in my power to provide you with the leadership and guidance you require.
Couldn't see a more fitting commander,
House
honestly.
Hydaelyn foremost among them, have arranged for a host of machinists to join us on our mission.
It's called Hydaelyn, not Hydaelyn. The L is silence. It's French.
Their knowledge of Imperial Magitech is sure to be a great boon. They will address any
Hey,
problems
Stefia.
of technical nature together with the smiths of Limpsa Lomitsa.
Stefanivia? Stefanivia. Something like that.
There is another awaiting introduction.
Oh, no, please not. Can't you leave him... Again, the L is silent. It's Imanaya. But can't you leave him at home, please?
Ah, yes. Emmanuel de Forton, at your
Imanaya de Forton.
Though, lest there be any misunderstanding, I should stress that I've not become a fearsome warrior while you were away. Rather, far from it, actually. My brother, in his infinite wisdom, decided this would be an excellent chance to make something of myself. Oh, and fight for world peace and all that. But, should the opportunity arise for a spot of ballroom dancing, I will be your twinkle-toed gentleman of light.
Okay, if we need it, we know who to ask. May your graceful prancing lead the way to victory. I dare say your fancy footwork may be all that stands between us and certain doom.
Huzzah! I cannot wait to regale on Aurora with my tales of daring-do.
I believe that concludes introductions to the Grand Company of Eorzea.
His grin.
Our allies from the Eastern Alliance were due to arrive some time ago, but it would appear they have been delayed.
What happened? Why? Let's go rescue them! Save them! Something must have happened!
Would that be the Shinobi of Dome?
Actually,
Yay.
they've been tasked with relaying
Yugiri.
messages back and forth between the various Eastern nations. According to Lord Hien, however, an equally capable company of warriors has been sent in their stead.
Is it gonna be little son?
Out of my way, you preening fool!
Oh yes. Oh, Cirina. I love Cirina.
Forgive us for coming late. We are the delegates of the Eastern Alliance.
Cirina, and you've brought company.
For battle and blood
Sadu.
we come, as a step is sorely lacking in both. No towers befoul our lands, so we march to
Aw.
those of Doma, only to find them beyond our reach.
Aww.
But now
Sad
our
Othal.
slaughter will be slaked. No quarter to the enemy!
Sadu Hatun, no. We go to make peace with the Iron Men, not war.
Make love, not war.
Warriors of the Steppe, we've heard many tales of your bravery. We welcome you as allies. And these other ones you have brought are...
They might want to have a change of clothes though. I think they're not really...
Members of the Dalmascan resistance group, Lente's Tears.
Those as well seem to not be properly equipped for the cold of the north, I must say. Hey there. Remember me?
And the Bosnian resistance. Between them, they have a wealth of experience in espionage, and are particularly adept at infiltrating Imperial facilities. Which is fortuitous, since Garlemald's domain is so vast that I could never hope to handle reconnaissance duties all by myself.
Dalmasca, Bosnia, Alamigo. All lands which have suffered the tyranny of the Empire. I would never presume to question your motives. Nevertheless, I must reiterate that our goal is to aid the victims of the Telophoroi, the common folk of Garlemald.
Well, I don't think any one of them holds a grudge against the common folk of Garlemald. They all know that it is the higher-ups in Garlemald who are the assholes, right? And they also know that a lot of the Garlean soldiers even aren't even in the army by their own choice, right?
And they are victims, make no mistake. Though I understand that many may struggle to see them as such.
You're more right than you know. For every one of us that answered the call, there were a dozen that refused. Not only in Alamigo, but everywhere we went. And who could blame them? The Empire's always been the enemy. But after seeing what we've seen, fighting and working against and with Garleans, there's no denying the simple truth. They're just people. No different from you or I. They've got their share of liars and murderers, but so do we. So do we all. Fordola, who once swore herself to Garlemald, has proven herself a trusted ally time and time again. Every Eorzean here knows Cid Garland, the Imperial defector who shared with us countless technological wonders. Gaius bloody Baelsar himself is working to help rebuild Wurlit, a nation he once conquered. So you can believe me when I say that every fighter here understands and accepts that the Imperials are not monsters and are deserving of help. Or at least that they were able to put aside their feelings for the greater good. It won't be easy.
But we're all determined to make this world a better place.
Here, here, well said.
Were clearly unwarranted. I agree with everything you said wholeheartedly.
Can we please go now? It's been long enough.
Then we are in accord. Now, let us review our strategy. To reach the Garlean capital in northern Ilsabard, we must cross the central mountain range. Fortunately, Garlemald ironworks can provide aerial transport, sparing us this most treacherous part of our journey. However, attempting to fly any closer to Garlemald would attract the attention of the Tailor.
Gonna need some amount of airships for that.
As they appear to have seized control of the majority of the Imperial military, we must assume that includes its fleet. In addition, Garlemald possesses devices that can interfere with airship navigational systems, further discouraging an airborne approach.
Given the circumstances, the closest we dare deploy our contingent is an area between the range and the capital, the Magna Glaciers.
The Magna Glaciers.
From there, we must travel the rest of the way on foot. We will also need to bring the airships with us to ensure we can withdraw with haste. Although much of the terrain will be blanketed in snow, we should be able to make use of local roads and shipping facilities.
How do you bring airships with you without flying them? What?
The vast ice field will afford us an unobstructed view of the surrounding area. On the other hand, it will also allow others to easily spot us. So it is imperative that we only make camp in positions where we can easily defend ourselves. And the airships, which must be kept safe at all costs.
We cannot account for every possibility, so we must be prepared to think on our feet. We will be tested. Sorely tested, I expect. But for our homes and for our people, and a people not our own but in need, we will succeed. Spare no effort in your preparations. Once we depart, there is no turning back.
I'm trying to immerse myself into one of the... just any one of these people. I mean, there's random Viera standing around in the back and stuff, right? If you think about who wants to go on this mission, and I mean, at this point, you're probably like the most likely outcome for you if you join this is that you die somewhere in a cold wasteland in Garlemald. Far away from anyone who loved you. Well, except of course if they're on the journey as well, right? In the contingent as well. But still, it's... one tends to forget that if you just, you know, think about the fact that this is a video game. And in the end, we're gonna somehow win. Well, that only applies to our own character, of course, but yeah, it's just like... there's quite some different stakes for all of the people there. Not just with us, who we know that we have plot armor and that we can basically do whatever we want and we will come out victorious anyways. Greetings, Yummy! The time has come for us Marines to show our valor upon the battlefield. All who see us will know our names and quake before our might. To victory, come hells or high water. It seems so long ago we were sailing across the Ruby Sea and charging about the Azim Steppe with Cirina and the others. I'd say we're overdue for another adventure. It brings back memories to see so many familiar faces. We've been through so much together. Good times and not so good. I expect Garlemald will be mostly the latter, but I'd like to believe we'll look back on those days more fondly in the years to come. If there are years to come. But for that to happen, we'll have to make it out of this alive. Exactly. Don't you die on me, eh? I'm so glad I found you. I've for you a letter from Master Hammon. Let's read it together, shall we? Now, let's see here. If ever is it all of the people? Wait. Is it all of the... No, I don't think I have a white mage on this character, right? I was just like, is it people from all of the guilds that you have a max level character on, or at least reached a given level? But I don't think I've done any levels in Conjurer or White Mage on this character. I've every confidence that your fists shall bring the Tailor to their knees, and should you espy any beautiful maidens thereabouts, perhaps sing to them my praises. Charming, Master. Well, more fool me for thinking that letter would contain something actually inspiring. Let's just forget this note exists and focus on the battle ahead. It wouldn't make sense though, right? Nah, but I have only level 1 Conjurer, so that's not the case, okay. And also level 1 Thaumaturge. But they probably have different dialogue if you have done the job quests, right? The class quests. I'm gonna talk to you last. I care not for the Iron Man or the troubles. It is the destiny of the weak to die in economy. Even so, I will do as I have agreed. I volunteer to join this band at Cirina's request, and if she thinks it's a worthy cause, that is reason enough. Though we hail from different tribes, our bond has grown strong of late. She is much better company on a hunt than any of the steppes oafish man could dream to be. Wait, Cirina's mine. You don't touch Cirina, right? No, you don't. You don't touch Cirina. No, not touchy. You can have Magni. With the Mole, champions of the Nadam, and the Dothal having sent so many here, I had thought to defend the steppe in their absence. And I would have done so were it not for my stepbrothers. They urged me to grant their allies sun's might, that his radiance might deliver them unto victory. Though I must tolerate the presence of this feral Dothali dog, as first among my brothers, I could do no less than accept this challenge. My deeds will become the stuff of legends. Alright, Cirina, what do you have to say? Hi, Cirina. Hey, how have you been? I am glad to see you well, Yomi. Grandmother was worried for you. Oh, yeah, I'm fine, don't worry. The night I agreed to come hither and join the contingent, the gods sent her a strange dream. 2 suns, one burning red, the other frozen black. Closer they circled, closer and closer, and as they danced, the world fell to ruin. In blinding chaos, she spied blackened silhouettes and knew at once that one was yours. Yeah, and the other one is Xenos, of course. Which are we then? Well, of course, we're probably the burning red one. Yet we know not how to interpret this dream. Safe as a sign that great danger awaits, but whatever lies ahead, I will walk with you, traveler. Yay. I love Cirina. Besides the delegates assembled here, the Amalja and several other tribes offer to send troops of their own. Unfortunately, due to their physiology, many would struggle simply to survive in the harsh climate of Ilzabad. They would also likely prove tempting targets for abduction by the Telophoroi. All things considered, they can better aid the cause by bolstering our defenses in Eorzea, though their eagerness to do more has been noted. We few shall have to suffice. Ere we embark, we must distribute the warding scales to our comrades. Care to do the honors? Wait, do I have to talk to every single one again? Damn it. I got to talk to her again. We heard it would be cold in Garlemald, so we came prepared. I can't really see any of that so far. At least not with Sadu over there. Oh, the talismans. We have to keep those close at all times, yes? I will see that no one misplaces them. Theirs. And before I forget, I have a message from Hien. In distant lands, in times of strife, together stand, together fight. In darkness shines the light of life. I hope I have done his words justice. Doma, like much of Othard, has been plagued by the towers. Yet while he could not be here, he wished to express his shared conviction. Hien and Yugiri labor without rest to unite the people, and with their aid will we keep the enemy at bay. And we of the Steppe and the Eastern Alliance will repay the efforts by ending this war. Let's go, let's go. I don't have any final preparations. Let's go. I have my scythe with me, I have my little cloud of darkness with me. Let's go! I'm tired of talking. My tongue already feels a little This is our last chance to make ready before we set forth. You needn't worry about Orienja and I. We still have what we wore in Garlemald before. Estinian claims to be quite warm and toasty beneath his armor, and since he spent a fair bit of time up north recently as well, I have no reason to doubt his words. Most of the others will be borrowing Grand Company stock. The rest of you could do likewise, I suppose, provided you're not only concerned with style, not overly concerned with style. Not to put fine a point on it, but I wouldn't be seen dead in one of those ridiculous overcoats. If only I had time to find something to my liking. Ask Tataru. Yeah, of course. Tataru! Huck, is that the cry of science in need of Tailor I hear? But how? Come on, we've all already established that Tataru is the greatest and most powerful being walking under the sun. Hey, kitty? Yeah, there's a second kitty on the floor. Staring at me wordlessly. I've my ways, oh yes indeed. You thought you could sneak off to Ilzabad without telling me? Nah, nothing escapes my notice. Now you will wear those garments I have made for you whether you will like it or not. You never cease to amaze. But why do you need a new outfit as well? Wait, are you coming with us? What? No, of course not, silly. It's all in the name of fashion, rather the pursuit of the highest quality fashion. Besides, how can I expect others to wear my creations if I've never worn them myself? I did have one other thing to share. Ergmos and Blumvida have finally returned from assignments in faraway lands. They'll be staying at the Rising Stones for a while to keep an eye on events throughout Eorzea. Whoever that is, I don't remember, sorry. Since I'll be running things back at headquarters, I was wondering if I could lend a hand in Shalmayan. Oh yeah, you can go to Kryl. She'll be happy to have a little company. Yeah, exactly. Oh, why not? You can keep Kryl company in the Baldesian Annex. Yes, we'd love to have you there. And I heard Ergmos and Blumvida did a fine job carrying on in our stead while we were lying comatose. With them in charge of the Rising Stones, we've nothing to worry about. My thoughts exactly. Also, while I'm confident you won't go collapsing again, because a certain someone who shall remain nameless isn't in a position to transport your souls to another world, if anything similarly disastrous were to happen, I'd be well positioned to do something about it. Anyway, I've got a few things to take care of and then I'll make my way to Shalmayan. I really do hope these new clothes are enough to keep you warm in Garlemald. It's not much, but it's the only thing I can do for you, other than pray for your safe return, which I will, every day. Let's not keep the contingent waiting any longer. Here are your winter woolies, handcrafted by yours truly. Aww, cute. There we go. Garlemald, Garlemald, Garlemald. Please be voice acted. Come on, remove the clouds. We want to see what's beyond there.
Ilzabad, divided in twain by a vast mountain range. Those who would traverse its jagged peaks face peril at every step. But why go by foot when one can simply fly?
Oof, that looks cold.
On the outskirts of the Imperial capital,
is that Sadu?
In the frozen wastes of the Magna Glacius. The winds howl in icy protest, as if to warn against further trespass.
Of course, Manaya. Shiny. Everything is shining more than usual. Interesting lighting. It's blinding.
Word from Thancred's reconnaissance party.
Yeah, Shola has an interesting outfit.
They've sighted a detachment of heavily armed Imperials.
Survivors of the Civil War, perhaps?
Perhaps, but there is more to
it than that.
Maxima reports that they're led by Vergilia, legatus of the 3rd Legion, which comprises the bulk of their number. However, they are also joined by several members of the 1st.
From what I recall, the 3rd Legion fought for Nerva in the War of Succession following Varus's death. The 1st, on the other hand, were under the direct command of the Emperor and rejected Nerva's claim to the throne. These legions were enemies.
Indeed. In fact, our sources claim that it was a conflict between them that sparked the Civil War. Yet now, these former foes cooperate to defend a ruined Garlemald from invasion.
So they're tempered. They're Telophoroi.
Then it is all but certain they have been tempered.
So, what's the plan? If me and my crew is out reaving, we charge straight in, no messing about. But that ain't what we're here for.
Quite right. Soldiers or no, they are people of Garlemald. The very ones we have come to aid. Direct confrontation is unavoidable. Nevertheless, we must make every effort to limit casualties on both sides. Rather than kill them, I would remove them from the field.
How so? Savage beatings, disarmament, and imprisonment? Not impossible, but easier said than done in the heat of battle.
Having observed the opposition, I imagine Thancred had something to suggest?
He did. He and the other scouts have already infiltrated a supply depot some distance beyond the Imperial detachment's current position. Stored within is a stockpile of Magitech armaments, and once we give the signal, Thancred's team will destroy them all. In so doing, we will deprive frontline troops of materiel, and likely force the detachment to send men to investigate.
Divide and conquer. Not a bad idea.
All the trick in the book.
Once the scouts have finished their preparations, we will split into two groups. The first will form the vanguard, while the other brings up the rear with our supplies. As for the Scions, I ask that you lend your assistance where you deem it needed most. I would prefer, however, that you accompany the rearguard and be prepared to join the van at a moment's notice. Kept in reserve as our trump card, so to speak.
You just want no harm to be done to me. Come on, let me fight. I'm not here to twiddle my thumbs. Don't you just nod? Why are you always just nodding? Meanwhile, at the Imperial Supply Depot. That's a cool outfit. Wow. I like that one.
Your proposal was well received. More specifically, they asked that we destroy the Imperial's toys in as spectacular a fashion as possible.
Hydaelyn always did have a flair for the dramatic. She's not an easy woman to please, but I shall do my best to satisfy her thirst for fireworks.
I wonder if he has experience in how to please her.
All right. Once more for my peace of mind. Our first objective will be to rig the enemy's Magitech with explosives. After we've withdrawn to a safe distance, we'll detonate them remotely.
Wow, what a plan!
The second will be to issue a deactivation command to the automated units via the control terminal. If our calculations are correct, this signal should reach those deployed on the front line, giving our friends a much-needed upper hand. A blizzard will help us stay hidden, so let's aim to get in and out before it passes. Trust in the plan, and we should all live to see tomorrow.
So they've just been like hanging around that wall for like 30 minutes and nobody spotted them. Okay. Spying in Garlemald doesn't seem to be that hard.
In the meantime, I will relay messages back and forth as the situation unfolds. You'll forgive me if I ask again, but are you certain you wish to play the lone wolf?
Wouldn't have it any other way. Call it foolish and reckless if you like, but I'll get the job done. I always do.
Very well. I wish you the best of luck.
Role playing. So we have the usual, right? Single target combo, offensive cooldown, going invisible. Oh, we gotta do some splinter selling.
Okay. Assuming there's nothing else you wish to confirm, we may commence the mission as soon as you're ready. Commence mission.
Keep your wits about you.
It's time. We only have one shot at this, so let's make it count.
Oh, that's not very long. So, I guess I'm gonna take that one out. There we go. And then we need to go over there, right? Oh, okay. I have to set up the explosives first, that makes sense, I guess. Can we just... I'll just do that. And you're the next one. Magitech slashers. Can I also deactivate those? Or will they be immune to silent takedown? When a target is magic weapon, your guard dog delivers an attack. Okay, no, so we can only fight those. Can they see me when I'm invisible? No. Okay. There we go. I hope they cannot see me through the... No, okay. Easy so far. Now it's gonna get more interesting, I guess. With the Magitech over there. Or maybe not, because they're all totally stupid. Where does that one patrol towards? Oh, that's it? Okay.
This is Thancred. The explosives are in place.
Very good. All is proceeding as planned. Head to the control terminal. It should be to the northwest.
There we go.
Understood. Have the others wait at the rendezvous point.
Come on, good timing here. Good timing. Oh, they're coming towards me. Uh-oh.
Spotted.
I didn't realize it turned visible after I used the silent thingy, but it does make sense, I guess. It's funny how I stood right next to the one guy at the gate and he didn't notice me. Well, that was a fast one.
Must be losing my touch.
I don't even know where that one came from. Well, whatever. There we go. Oh, it's just deactivating them.
Withdraw. Why are you there? Why couldn't you just use the control terminal to disable them? Would have been easier for me.
You are returned, and none the worse for wear, to my considerable relief.
What news from our comrades?
They stand at the ready.
Excellent. Then let the fireworks begin.
Fireworks, yay! Press the button, press the button. Boom. Didn't we just kill all the people that were in... A few months later at the rear at the Elizabeth contingent supply caravan, didn't we just kill all of the people that we like were like close to these Magitech? Hey, partner, look.
The blizzard's beginning to clear. The Vanguard should be engaging the Imperials any moment now. If they haven't already.
Yeah, and we're just loitering around back here.
Tailor and the others are with them, so I'm sure they'll be all right. But wait! Something's coming!
Ugh. Good doggies, good doggies. Stay put.
Looks like we ain't the only ones who sent out scouts. Keep them away from the carriages! We lose those, and we're as good as dead!
Well, that's what we are here for, right? Engage battle music. In the coming battle, you will fight as Yomitanchi. Oh, really? Woo, something special and new that has to be announced. Yay, no positionals.
A brief respite, but stay alert.
Come on, I just used my enshroud. Give me something to kill. There we go. Okay.
A fine display, but the other carriages are still in danger. Go on ahead. We'll hold the line.
We're the only ones still struggling.
Yeah, that's because of me. Don't worry.
I've been itching for a scrap.
Who's that? Oh, it's Baraha, okay. I was just like, who is that black mage who just kills everybody? I want them for our cause. Oh, they're already in our cause. Stop it in its tracks. Blockade. Leave it to me.
You lot all right back there?
You're pretty... I don't know, courageous guys. Just standing in the way of that.
Hear that? Get to the front and turn the tide.
I am at the front. Head north. Oh, that front. Okay. Meanwhile, on the front line. Oh yeah, I didn't even try to knock them out or something.
Euphemism for enthusiastically murder.
It's nothing that won't heal in time. The trouble is, their tempering has made them utterly fearless. Subduing them would be easier if they had the capacity to submit in the first place.
Well, this is the path our young charges would have us walk, and that we all agreed to follow. You knew it would be hard, yet still you pledged your lance, did you not?
That I did.
Come on, Magnai. Show us what you're made of.
That's
Little
Magilia.
son.
Damn it. I need to help the others take her down.
There's no end to them.
Don't worry, or your savior is coming.
I was wondering when you'd turn up.
What? I wanted to fight at the front lines from the first go. I wasn't the one, you know, holding myself back.
There's no stopping us now. Come on, let's show them what we're made of.
Dark Knight Pippin.
We have them now. Forward.
Raging bull!
Ah, stack, no. Okay. Kinda cool to have them do mechanics outside of the battle arena. Where? Oh, there she is.
Do not fall behind!
Come on.
Is everyone
Yep. No worries so far. Okay.
Lord, die!
Anything else? Ah, she's back. No, don't request assistance, come on. Just some grim reaping to do. Ooh. Oh yeah, we know that one. An awful lot this time, dude. Thank you, Magnite.
Tremble before the sun!
Whenever you're due, Sadu. It's an awful lot of enemies around, thank you. Oh, the victory fanfare.
Recover, reclaim yourself. Then we will fight again to the death.
As usual.
Sadu Hatun.
He's not yours. Forget it.
That was the last of them. The day is ours, thanks to your timely arrival. What of the supply caravan?
I don't know. Since I hear I haven't seen them, but they seem to be fine when I left.
But not outmatched. Good. Let us take the Imperials into custody and rejoin our comrades. And soon we shall arrive at the capital.
That looks dreadful.
So cold and unforgiving. Thus spoke Emperor Solus as he gazed upon his barren domain. "800 years it had been since the Garleans first set foot here. Bested by the Kavosi after centuries of war and driven from fertile southern pastures into the blasted northern wastes. In that garden of desolation, they clung to one another for warmth, freezing, hungry, desperate, hated.
Is that a Magitech Aetheryte? Wow. Interesting.
The chosen forsaken. In the year 1513 of the 6th Astral Era, a young legatus named Solus single-handedly sparked the Magitech Revolution. How did he conceive the machina that feed on ceruleum? Once a common, soft-spoken soldier, how had he so quickly ascended through the ranks? Like so many others, those who knew the truth are gone. Taking in the capital with his eyes for the first time, I recall thinking to myself, far colder on the earth than in the heavens. Yes, far colder indeed, bitterly so.
Not so much as a whisper.
The roads leading beyond the city walls would have been used less in recent years. Nevertheless, this was one of the most important gateways into the capital.
Well, not so important now.
Night with activity, aye. Merchants passing through the checkpoint, many of them stopping at the local hostelries.
Surely they cannot all have been tempered.
Well, honestly, I do think so.
We can consider the question after we have made camp. If we spend any longer outside, we may well freeze to death where we stand. The tempered Imperials, too.
Well, you should have just worn something different, you know, something with pants, for example.
This will be our temporary base of operations. Secure shelter for ourselves and the injured, and dispatch scouts to survey the surrounding area.
If we're planning on staying here a while, we ought to give this place a proper name.
Really? What's it matter? Camp Hope?
Well, the constant sound of ice cracking underfoot makes me think of broken glass. An apt name, perhaps. But enough of this. To work, everyone!
Camp Broken Glass.